Hi everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Mr. Yatin Varachia, who is the founder of Euphotic Labs. Yatin is a graduate of Indian Institute of Science and has worked for companies such as Analog Devices and Lumos Design before starting his own venture in 2017. And today we will also discuss about Yatin's new products that are catering to the kitchen and home appliance segment. Hi Yatin, welcome to ELI.
Hi Priya, excited to be part of ELI and would love to share my journey.
Sure. Yatin, I would request you to introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Yeah, so basically I am a hardware techie. I did my master's from Indian Institute of Science. Even there, I built a product called Camera Trap, right? So, which is a motion triggered camera. It is still being used in Forest Department of Karnataka to count the tiger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that gave me good glimpse of how product is different from project, right? So typically people do projects during their masters or during their academics, but being product means figuring out every small detail, right? And thinking about how it will be used, what are challenges will come in the field. So that gave me first exposure of the product design, and with that I kind of joined a MNC called Analog Devices. It was a good work. I was a hardcore R&D engineer. I kind of work on DSP core architecture, but I realized that this is not something I can keep doing forever in my life, right? Uh, so that time I thought the best step to do is to join a startup, right? And I, being a hardware guy, I joined a hardware startup called Lumos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at Lumos, we were into the entire hypothesis was like our backpack or t-shirt or jackets are very boring from long time, and we wanted to add some tech element into it, right? So that's how we get started, and so we built smart backpacks to start with, and this backpack were with having electronics or tech inside, and we built a solar backpack. We said first we have to get the power in the backpack, right? So we built a solar backpack for a niche market like hikers, cyclists, right? So that was we built. Good sold, good thousand, I think 1,500, 2,000 units of same. Then we built a second backpack called Aster. So Aster is a backpack where you, a cyclist, right, a commute cyclist, get all the lights a car has, right? So front light, back light, side light, everything you get. So we did Indigo campaign with this. We sold around $100,000 worth of the product on Indiegogo, sold across 24 countries, delivered it successfully. So that with that exposure, also we got exposed to the capital requirement the hardware startup has, right? And then actually entire remote things didn't work out because of the working capital and other issues, finance issues we faced. Suppose that I was mostly doing the consultancy, and during that time, my wife completed her MBA and joined a company, started working, right? So we shifted our place, and that time we were trying to find a cook, right? And the thing was we are Guju, right? And we are very specific about our taste. So we couldn't find anyone who can cook well for us, right? And that's where I started thinking, what can I automate in the cooking process, or how can I get my kind of taste in this my kind of taste here, right? So uh, and that exploration led to foundation of Euphotic Lab and building a product like NOS, right? So yeah, that's have been my journey. We have built more than 15 prototypes to reach this stage, right? And I think cooking automation is a hard thing to figure out, is what we learned, right? And but we are happy that we finally figured it out, and we are so excited that this what this product can solve in the world, right? So yeah, that's where we are.
Okay, Yatin, let's speak a bit more on the problem statement you are solving. Uh, First, I would like to know what is the problem, what is the core problem you are solving.
So the core problem is this, right? So I think we are a new age people. We firstly, like, across genders, we don't know cooking well, or we don't enjoy that cooking that much, right? Most of us. That is first problem. But at the same time, our taste buds are tuned by our mothers, right? Who kind of always prepare best thing for us, right? And balancing that, like when we migrate to a new city or new town or new country, right? Uh, find getting this right, like getting a food right, is one thing we struggle with, right? Either we start eating outside and get unhealthy food, lot of problem due to unhealthy food, um, and we crave for home food, but finally we can't cook as well, right? So that's the problem we are solving. So this is a new age problem that come up with a higher migration to cities and low willingness to cook, right? That's what we are still solving. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now, I'd like to know about your journey from being a CTO at a company to being a founder. How different is it being a CTO and being a founder?
Yeah, so I would say so. Like when I was CTO of Lumos, we were also like a 8 people team, right? In general, and I was on paper even co-founder, right? So basically, entire tech decision, product decision, I used to take. I used to lead entire tech development, manufacturing, all those things, right? I think only part was different was I was not managing finance, right? So I was not talking to investor. I was not thinking about how the next month salary will be paid, right? And uh, when I started Euphotic Labs, this is the something that came up, right? And uh, I think the key difference that comes in is uh, it's a very mental pressure, right? So if you just remove the finance part, taking responsibility, building a product, building exciting journey, I think it's a well enjoyable thing. Managing finance once it come in, managing investors when it come in. Sometimes like it depends on the relationship, but it is quite it takes little bit of mental toll, I would say, right? You have to manage, you have to always think about how will I want to do this, but how the money will come for that, right? So that was the big difference I found between Lumos and Euphotic, right? And yeah, so otherwise I think at Lumos also I was taking complete responsibility. I was suggesting what product to be developed and all that, right? So yeah.
Uh, okay, yeah. Since you spoke about finance, I'd like to know how you raised the funds for Euphotic Labs.
Yeah, so for Euphotic Labs, we are basically the initial funding came from my friends, right? So friends whom I work with, and they know that I would deliver, right? So initial financing came from them. We gotten a lot of grants as well. So far we have gotten some 25 lakhs rupees of government grants, right? So I think government is big support of hardware startup, and that reflects here, I would say, right? So without government support, this would have not been possible. And then we raised our pre-seed round from Sign IIT Bombay, right? So Sign is the incubator of IIT Bombay, and they led pre-seed round of 40 lakhs in Euphotic. So that's have been our journey, right? So 25 lakhs from friends, 25 lakhs from grants, and 40 lakhs from Sign IIT Bombay. I have put in around 10 lakhs in the company. So yeah.
Okay, interesting. Um, uh, Now, what is the road forward? I think you have designed the prototype and raised the seed round of funding, but to go mainstream, it required a lot of funds to market your product, also to find product market fit as well. So, what is your game plan going ahead?
Yeah, so our next plan now is to do user trials and do more demos and collect pre-orders, right? So get if this product itself is a fit, or we need to tweak the product little bit, we need to tweak the market positioning little bit. So that is something we are doing right now. In fact, tomorrow we have a demo at a co-working space, and we are starting user trial from next week, right? So that is something is next milestone. Once we get all this information, next thing would be to take this to production, right? So this is prototype, and then we have to do value engineering, optimize for DFM, DFA, and take it to production. So that would be our next thing. But before that also comes in customer feedback and how we can uh, deep understanding of this part, where this is the something where we can spend a lot of money and take it to production, right? So that is something we want to validate.
Okay. Yatin, from the market point of view, I have seen similar products coming up since 2015, and many of such products were launched in China, in Europe, and US. But so far, I don't think there has been a proper product market fit. Otherwise, it would have been a mainstream thing. So, would you like to share with us what has been your understanding on this particular market you are operating in? When is the time frame will reach a point where everybody is preferring to get robot cooked food or machine cooked food?
Yeah, so this is something we have been thinking and exploring and always correcting our understanding, right? So, frankly, so far the food robotics or cooking robotics, right, where mostly, if you see China or US, have been focused on the uh, restaurant or on cloud kitchen kind of model, right? So they also, the initial part of entire food robotics was idea was that we put robotic cooking and people will come to just see it, right? People will come to watch it, and that would be our business model, right? So far it has been always done like that, right? I think very few products have been targeted for the consumer segment, and the reason for that is this, right? So if you go to China or US, right, most of time they eat out. They don't cook that much at home, right? That and China in fact cook like eat 28 to 30 times outside home, right? So they typically never cooks, right? If you see US, that comes around 20 to 22 times, right? So they 20 to 22 times a month they eat out, right? So their home cooking is in a way smaller, right? So, but if you see countries like India, right? So what we enjoy outside food, but finally our comfort food is home food, right? So we would like to have home food most of the days, and then uh, enjoy the outside food 1 or 2 times a week, right? So that has been our scenario. So that's why this product is positioned for Indian, like Indian staying in India, Indian staying in NRI clusters, right? So like Bay Area, New Jersey, Vancouver. So these are the cities we are targeting first with NOS.
Okay.
So, in a way, there is one robotic product that has been successful, right? That is the Rotimatic. This is a roti, automatic roti making machine, and they have sold, I think, close to around 70,000 units just in the NRI segment. They have not entered India yet, right? So that kind of speaks about how much Indians love home food, right? So that's why we have positioned this product for the Indian segment now. And once we prove to other people also that with NOS or with this technology, you can get as convenient as getting food from outside, then they will also start adopting it. Like, so this NOS is not for just, we are starting to position as an Indian, the product for Indians, but the recipe opting to entire world cuisine, right? So, yeah.
Okay, so I understand that you are betting big on the success of this product, and even I feel this is a requirement for the existing market. Having said that, I'd like to know about how did you build the team to take this vision forward? How did you find the right people to understand the market's requirement and build prototypes around it?
Basically, you're asking how do we find the requirement, right? Is that something you're asking?
I'm asking, how did you find the right people to take your vision forward?
Okay, yeah. Coming to the team building part, right? I think we have been lucky in team building. Typically, hardware expertise is not that much, right? So people who are good at hardware are hard to find as well in India. With our team, we have gotten very enthusiastic freshers who has built things during their right? That's the scenario, that's the criteria actually we take for joining our startup, right? Yeah, Venkatesh, who has built corn dekernelling machine in just 3 months, he has built SAE Baja vehicle, right? During the college. So this project he has done, which are practical projects during the college. Abhishek had built a car with 270 kilometer per liter mileage. Like his team has built for eco marathon, Shell eco marathon. Right? Problem solving skill he comes with because it's on, right. He has come in, and we are actually lucky to have this kind of people, right? So then Kushal come from the manufacturing background, so his family has a workshop, and he understands manufacturing quite well. So it also helped a lot. Right? Then we have Adi, who is taking care of computer vision AI part, right? And he has done a lot of the projects during his college and build the capability. So I think what we look for is this, like people who has done good projects during the college, because it is not mandatory to do the projects, right? And still you have done it and you have done well. That speaks something about you. So due to our limited financing, we have always hired freshers with good passion, right? Who are passionate about problem solving.
Okay. I went to the Glassdoor page of Euphotic Labs, and the same way you speak about your employees. I think your employees also spoke about the company, and they speak very highly about the learning experience and the kind of free work culture you provide. Having said that, I think in the startup community, lot of times startups do succeed because of the freedom they give to other people, the empowerment they give to other people. But also there are some startups, they tend to micromanage and tend to not build a very free environment inside the company. Having said that, both the approaches are correct in their own ways. How do you comment on this fact? What is more necessary, micromanagement and or giving freedom to people?
I think so. My take is very simple, right? So micromanagement is not possible. Specifically, being a single founder company, if I try to get involved in everything, I'm not able to finish my core things, right? So my core things are understanding customer requirement, build, and think about what how the product has to evolve, and also get funding, right? So these are the three core area of mine, right? And you have to trust the team, right? If you don't trust anyone in the team, don't keep them in team, right? You because it is waste of effort, right? So basically, he is putting his time completely, right? And you also putting your time into that. So it is like you are spending for a X amount of thing, you are spending 1.5x of effort, right? So and if you don't trust and you communicate that you are not trusting, then it will they also will not give completely, right? So it is actually complete waste if you don't trust them. So if you don't trust, if you feel that you are not trusting them, don't keep them in team, right? So for us, many times it happens that someone joins and within 15-20 days we get go back and say that it's not working out, right? Because if you are not able to completely trust someone, there is no point taking it forward.
Okay. Um, Tell us, Yatin, what are the challenges you have faced so far while building and growing this venture?
Yeah, so a lot of challenge. I think first and foremost challenge is getting finance, right? So, do like percentage of people doing startups are low, but in India, even small percentage is a high amount, right? So, anywhere you go, you have a high amount of competition, right? Go for grant or funding or wherever you go. So I think financing is the challenge. Um, Second part is actually team building, right? So like I have mentioned few things before in this talk. So getting someone whom you can trust completely, right? So you like typically if you list a job, you will get 300 plus applications. Now you have to go through and find out one person that you can trust completely, right? On the skill side, on the trust side, everywhere, right? So that is one of the biggest challenge, right? Um, Third thing would be being a hardware startup. Prototype manufacturing is also not easy. Developing prototype, building, getting it manufactured, getting the quality manufacturing, right? It's not that easy because when you are small, no one respect you. The manufacturer don't respect you, and you have to get it. You have to stand on top of their head and get things done, right? So that has been challenge. Technologically also, I think when we started building food robots, right? We know that it is complex. We know that it will be hard, but we didn't know that it will be this hard, right? So I think from my point of view, I thought it will be whatever X complexity. Realize that it is like a 5x complex than what I estimated. Right? So yeah, so that has been our challenge because food, the key thing is the so many type of ingredients, so many type of cooking techniques, so many type of uh, like cuisines that has to happen, right? So many type of mixing, so many type of ingredients, so many type of heating that happens in the cooking, right? So that has been challenged, and coming up with the right mechanism for everything itself was a big challenge, right? So in our first year went into that invention of the mechanism, right? So yeah.
Uh, Yatin, speaking of challenges, when you face challenges and solve them, you also come up with new learnings from it. Uh, I would like to know what are some of the interesting lessons you have learned as an entrepreneur, which may help other entrepreneurs out there by shortening their learning curve.
Yeah, so I think uh, I think biggest lesson is you need to get people whom you trust, right? So that is the key thing for success. Like without that, we like in actually in 2.5 3 years, we have developed two hardware products, right? And both are super complex. This is not it one. We have a B2B product as well, right? So we developed two products in these 3 years, which is possible because we had right. So I think having good people in your team is the most essential part. And I think micromanagement at early stage is not the right thing to do, right? So you need to trust and give all freedom. Then only it can work, right? So that is key part. And second thing would be if you are starting up, you need to balance your mindset, right? So you need to be in a calm position, like you should not stress out, and because you like setback happens every week, right? So you will face one setback every week, and in this scenario, you should be balanced. You should be always thinking that you should have a good amount of be to be an entrepreneur, right? So if you are a very personally or one negatively can get you down, it is not going to work out. So you need good amount of positivity to be an entrepreneur, I would say.
Okay. Um, Finally, I would like to ask you this question. How do you suggest our fellow audiences to start their journey as entrepreneurs?
Yeah, mm, I think being entrepreneur, there are two key things, right? So first, you should be excited to solve a problem, right? And that problem also should be big enough. Because if you are not that excited to solve a problem, you will give up easily, right? So I think you should, if you are becoming entrepreneur, you should always give 3 years to yourself, saying that in 3 years I'll achieve it, or I have 3 years to achieve this, right? Uh, so that is most essential part, right? So to be entrepreneur, not entrepreneur, if you want to do something, give yourself 3 years and and do it for passion, right? So if you're passionate, then only it is going to happen. Otherwise, not. You will give up in 6 months, and that is actually wasted 6 months, right? So do what you are passionate about. Second thing I will give advice is like start early, right? So I would say that just coming out of college, if you're starting, is the best time. Or you let's say you want to get some exposure, you can work for a year or so somewhere, ideally in a high growth startup, and then start, right? So that is key part. Third thing is maybe you should always start with people you are comfortable working with, right? So get if you, two three friends come together and work with a diverse skill set, right? That is the best combination, I would say. So start early and start with friends.
Okay. On that note, I'd close this session, and I must say it was an interesting conversation to have you here at ELI. I think our audience would have got lifetime lessons. Thanks for your time, Yatin, and our best wishes for Euphotic Labs.
Thanks, Pri. It is actually exciting to talk to you and basically help anyone who wants to be entrepreneur. Right? Yeah, really excited.
Viewers, that is it for today's episode. You can follow and connect with Yatin on LinkedIn by searching Yatin Varachia. Also, do visit their website by typing Euphotic Labs. We will be back with another exciting entrepreneur. Stay tuned to ELI.